Episode 1 of Digger's Travels. In the psychedelic revolution of the 60s there were a lot of issues, but only two common threads between the participants: first, stop the war, and that we had to find a way to live without using money. Since no one had a usable plan, and thinking one up was unlikely, Digger went on a quest to find a plan for enabling a life without the interference control of money in any form. To find a way that anyone who wanted to live without using money in any form could do so without lowering their standard of living. Digger began his quest nearly 50 years ago. It has been 25 years since he found the plan. Here is some of what he experienced on his long, successful quest. And some timely observations and comments, all made without prejudice. Digger is not a reformer. He has been an activist for replacing the current system with a different social system for half a century. Here are some of the slogans that we live by. Drop out, turn on, tune in, drop out, turn on, tune in, drop out. Do not trust anyone over 30. Quit school, go to a library, and educate yourself. Money is not where it is at. Hell no, we won't go. Get rid of your hang-ups first. Free love. Do your own thing.
I tidied up some of my affairs and went about disposing of my goods. I was going to do my own thing, go on a quest for a plan. There was no internet then, by the way. Smile. I was living in the West End in a new high-rise. My pad was on the 10th floor, and I was the second renter in the new building, although others had moved in by this time. It had all the amenities taken for granted by up-and-coming capitalists of the day. The staff there did not like me. My friends kept coming to visit without shirts, and with no shoes on their feet. When you drop out, you have to give all your stuff away, to strangers only. I had a jade and soapstone English-style hand-carved chess set. It cost a pretty penny. I knocked on the door of one of the other apartments and gave it to a fellow. I did ask if he knew how to play. After I had given away all my personal goods to strangers, I called the firm that I had gotten all my furniture from and told them I was dropping out of society and would not be making any more payments. They were there within the hour to take back their like-new stuff. I had the loan outstanding. I went to the office and told them I was dropping out and would not be making any payments for a while. My credit was good at that time. I said, I'll pay you someday. I was amazed at how well they took it. It seemed that it was an epidemic. People who just had enough were opting out of all things establishment withdrawal, of service, of buying ready-made things. Decades later I paid off all of those debts.
Yeah, people were dropping out by the tens of thousands. It was quite a time. I recall while we were tripping out one day, we were at the cash register. The cashier looked so worn down, and seeing us freaks had in her eyes a yearning. Someone said, "We are going to the beach, come with us." We told her to quit her job and come with us and be free. She looked frightened for a moment, so we said, "We will feed and take care of you. We love you. Come with us now." We had flower power, so we laid some love upon her, and she left with us. We had a hippie house she moved in, and soon was tripping with us. Living was easy in the 60s. Communal living burst out everywhere. There were jobs galore, not for long-haired males though. Our hippie house was typical. One or two of the females would get a job, and a digger would somehow find what was consumed or needed about the place. One place I lived had 13 people including one young child, so with only one bathroom no one could ever get a bath without someone coming in to do a dump.
It was not only happening all across our nation, it was happening globally. Here in the Americas we were going to attempt a boycott on an unprecedented scale. In those days there were not so many new immigrants, so we could all get together, and if we boycotted a product its sales plummeted. I saw President Xi appear on TV. He was pleading with the population to stop your boycotting. It was making the economy unmanageable. No fooling the president asking us to stop because we were upsetting the entire economy by dropping out and boycotting. The establishment was not ready for us, and they became quite fearful eventually. They began to imprison and kill us. Many of us were damaged beyond repair, as the establishment tried its evil best to eliminate an entire generation, and for sure prevent them from having or at least raising their own kids. Everything that happened to Canada's Indigenous people happened to the hippie generation. We were Canada's niggers. The establishment was ready for Occupy. They learned by trying to suppress hippies.
If you are one who dares to occupy the next time you see an old hippie or hippie chick looking a bit ragged around the edges or kinda crumpled, they have had 40 years of what you have only had for less than 2 years. So don't disrespect them. At least enough immigrants have been brought in to effectively eliminate the threat of boycott, since those of other cultures seem to have their own selfish interests and will not join in with us in our boycotts, demonstrations, protests. It seems that the immigrants also want the hippies, occupiers, indigenous people gone, imprisoned, sedated, so that they can continue forming their separate communities and recreate what they left behind. They are already so well established that they can put their own people into government, so we can no longer get our reformers elected.
As to our dropping out, this is hardly a threat nowadays, since the establishment wants us out. The establishment has enough new servants and slaves from the other continents. They want us gone, in prison, or sedated. Some say the new immigrants also want the hippies, occupiers, indigenous people gone, cause we upset the establishment, who gave them access to a new land, and will fight their battles for them. We make love, not war, so to those who are to godless to stay, fight, and perhaps die in their homeland, we say, do not expect, my brothers, to die in your place. We will not fight for anyone not on our continent. Fight your own fracked wars.
To be continued.